what is hoops? I already told. Object-oriented programming language. If I want to display a web page, what I do? I use a simple language, a markup language of HTML. Programming language is something like we study the concepts in order to write a code, to program. I told C# is a programming language. In where? In .NET framework. Hello everyone. Myself Evelyn Jacob, working as a faculty in BCA, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So today we are discussing the subject C# and .NET technology of 3rd Sem BCA. So what is C# and what is it in the .NET? What role does it play? Okay. See, what is the agenda of today? The agenda is all about, first we'll come across the syllabus. How many units are there? In the particular unit, what topics are there? That is all about syllabus. Next is the learning outcome. So learning outcome is when you finish this subject, what and all you'll come across, where it will be helpful. That is all about learning outcome. Then the units, how many units are there? Is it 3 or more than 3? We'll come across it. Okay. Next is the internals. So after you know how many internals are there, what is the exam pattern, so what is the marks allocated, it's all in the internal section. In the exam pattern, we'll come across the marks allocated. So part A, part B will be there and what are the marks. Okay. In the next slide, we'll come to the units. So totally how many units are there? 3 units. In the first unit, we come across the introduction. When you're new to a programming language, say C#, we say it is a programming language. And we'll come across the first unit is about introduction. What is C#? What role it plays? What are the differences? What are the features? It's in the introduction of C#. In the unit 2, we have hoops. So what is the full form of hoops? Hoops is object-oriented programming. What is the object? Why this is come to the picture in C#. Then we'll come to the introduction of VB.NET. We are saying about C# and now suddenly a new language had come into picture. It's VB.NET. What it is? Again, it is a programming language. In where? That is all about Unit 2. When we come across Unit 3, it is application development. In Unit 1, it was introduction. We come across the web technologies and all. After introduction, in Unit 2, it is hoops. When we study about C# and VB.NET, at the end, we gonna develop a application. What application? In that, we use ADO.NET. What is ADO.NET? What is the full form? A for active. ActiveX data object. So A stands for ActiveX data object. It's all about the units in the C#. Next is the learning outcome. When you finish this subject, when you finish revising all the 3 units, what will happen is you are familiar with the hoops concept. What is hoops? I already told. Object-oriented programming language. In that, what is inheritance? We say we inherit the properties of parent. The same concept is applied here, but in different methodology. We use coding here. Next, polymorphism. When you split the word poly and morph, what is poly? Poly means many. Then what is morph here? It is forms. So best example for polymorphism, a student will take a form of a student in the college. When he or she is at home, he'll take the form of a brother, sister, then friend, many forms. That is the concept of polymorphism. It is in where? In hoops. Next, afterwards, we have to apply in a real-time application. That is where? In the project. Okay. After, when we develop a project, in which language? Any language what you learned is C# or VB.NET. Okay, building custom application and generics. What is generics here? Generics also you can create, a user can create a class. In class, what and all will be there? Say members. What are the members? It may be data and function. That is all about generics. Next is introduction. See, this is the first unit. Which unit it is? Unit 1. When you talk about introduction to .NET technology, so what is .NET actually? Is it a programming language? Is it a framework? No, it is a framework. What is a framework then? Will come in this unit. So what is the full form of .NET? N stands for network. E stands for enabled. Then T is technology. In this, we have to go to the introduction of web technology. Why it is needed? What is a web? What are the technology given? If I want to display a web page, what I do? I use a simple language, a markup language of HTML. H is hypertext, M markup, L for language. And how to use a HTML? How can I write it? Is there a structure for it? Yes. Is there a structure? And what is the script here? Why should we write script? What is the difference between a normal script and a program? That we come across to the script and the sample program. When we already know what is script, in the unit 1, when we come to this session, and then we'll come to the advantage and disadvantage. Why it is useful and why it cannot be used in every situation. What type of script? It is client-side script. Then what is server? See, client is me who is using the system, who is accessing the server. I request a web page, the server will give what? Response. So next is the overview. Again, we'll come across this client-side technologies and server-side technology. In where? In the unit 1 of introduction. Next, in this unit 1 only, when we come across the web technology, advantage, disadvantage, but we have not gone to C# language. So, here we have to see what is the overview. What is C# actually? I told C# is a programming language. In where? In .NET framework. See, the word C means you can use the concepts, you can use the programming language similar to what language? C language. Then literals. What are literals? Why it is used in a program? Then variables. Variables, you can say, I say a variable int A. For me, this is a variable. A is a variable. But what is this int? It is of type integer. That is data type. If I say the value 5, 5 is what? Whole number. I don't say whole number. I say it is of type integer. So int means what? Integer. Okay. Next is operators. When I say max, operators is from very first operator, I'll come across arithmetic operator. What arithmetic operator? Plus, minus, multiply, divide are all operators. Only that operators? No, it's more than that. You have arithmetic operators, logic operator, relation operator, more than 6. Okay. In that operators, we come across what it will do, what are its function. Next, expression. What are expression? If you take any equation, say for me, sum is equal to A plus B. Is this an equation or an expression? Yes. You have a operand AB. What is this then? Plus, it is operator. That is all about expression. Next, you have control structure. You have some statements. See, some condition is there. If this is right, if A is greater than B, A is largest. Else, B is largest. That is all about conditions. Okay. Next, you have structures. See, structures is user-defined data type. Whereas, integer is primitive data type. See, integer is already defined by the system. It is already there. I just use it. But structure is, we gonna define it by the keyword struct. Next, enumeration. What is the difference between structure and enumeration? So, enumeration means you have some constant values. Structures means only data and members. And what it is? It's in the unit 1. When we come to the session, we'll get a brief difference between these. Next is hoops is which unit we are talking about? We are talking about unit 2. So classes. For us, classes is, see, I am talking about BCA. So class is BCA. Is that class? No. Class is different in hoops. See, how to declare a class? I say class student or anything. Class animal. Okay? This is a class. So what does animal do? What are its function? Every animal will have eyes, color, everything. What animal does? What are the function? It does sleep, eat. Okay? These are the functions. It is all about class. I am defining a class, animal, and what I do is, what and all members I want, I can use inside the class animal. So what are the object? See, I created a class, I am going to create an object. What object? Object are real world examples. Say, object can be anything. This pen can be object, right? Or I can create an object of animal. What animal it is? I'll take an example for cat. For me, cat is an object of type animal, or dog is an object of type animal. Then inheritance. See, I already defined a class animal. So animal will have similar function. All animal will eat, all animal will sleep. What I do is, I going to create a class cat. In this cat, I will do just inherit the properties of animal. So I don't want to again write this code or define this member. That is cat colon animal. Okay. Then is interfaces. Polymorphism, we already defined it, what it is. Interface is similar to class. What is the difference? We'll come across in very soon in this unit. Okay. Operator overloading. Say I told plus. Plus is, for us, it is a arithmetic operator which adds. So 5 plus 6. What's the answer? 11. Similarly, I can use some name. Say cat and dog. So these are the two strings I want to join together, concatenate. I can use the plus operator. So it is cat and a dog, right? What are delegates? What delegates is used in C#? Is it necessary? I say delegate give you the what? It gives you the reference. It refers to what? To method. What is a method? Method is a function. See, I say sleep, eat. It's what? It's a method. How I know it is method? See, you can see empty arguments or you can fill the arguments. Next, what are event? Event is action. See, I take this pen, I write on this, some event has appeared. You can see the color. That is also event. When you click a mouse, event arised. Then what are the errors and exception? We'll wait for these errors or we don't want errors. See, in practicals, when you want to run a program, we see no errors. But still errors is there. When? During compilation. Okay. In compilation, what happens? Students will type without a semicolon, syntax error. That is all error. But what is exception? See, when you compile without errors, when you got success, then what is exception? Exception is, if I try to divide by 0, 100 divide by 0, any answer is there? No. That is an exception. What exception I can say? Divide by 0 exception. So you can write like this. Divide by 0 exception. So similarly, many exceptions are there. So we have to catch that exception using try, catch, block. So in the second unit only, once we finish the C# introduction, the inheritance, errors and all, now we'll use this concept called, you have many things. You have tool, toolbar, you have solution explorer. Programming language is something like we study the concepts in order to write a code, to program. So these will help you to how to use it and where to use it. See, when you say Introduction to VB.NET, this is also a programming language where in .NET framework. Okay. See, you have the toolbar. You can auto hide it. How to use it? I don't want just a console application. What is console application? It is a terminal. I want something related to GUI. What is GUI? Graphical user interface, something colorful. I want to use controls and all. So that time I'll go for a window forms. Okay. Next, properties. I used a button, say submit. What is submit? It is a control. Submit, I don't want to look like this. I want to change the color. What I should do then? I will go to the properties of the window and change the color of the submit button. Next, solution explorer. See, I have many files. I don't know which file am I using. I should go to the solution explorer and check what are the files available, or I can insert any files also if I need. And basic keywords. See, when you want to write a programming language, you should understand what are the keywords. I can't change the keywords. That is used, that is already defined. We just write on the code. What are the data types? If it is whole number, integer, if it is decimal number, we go for a float. Then, conditional statements are there. In a program, we have to check the condition. Why condition is there? If the percentage is so much, CGPA is this. So, if else block is there. So, every time all students won't get same CGPA, right? It will differ. So, we have the condition statements depending on your program. Next, switch statement, choose loop. This and all are the syntax, how to write and how to use in a program. This is studied in which unit? In unit 2. And then what is loop actually? See, I already tell an example of addition. If one-time addition, no loop means no iteration. If I want to add set of subjects of whole class with a loop, iteration will happen one by one, one by one. That is all about loop. We say iteration. Okay. Next is arrays. If you have already studied the C++ hoops, arrays is similar. What is an array? Array is a collection of homogeneous elements. What is homogeneous? Similar elements. If one number is there, if one student is there, no need of array. If in your class, how many students are there? Say 50 or 60. So 60 students can be kept inside which data type? Array. So last unit is application development. See, only 3 units are there. It's easy to understand, easy to learn. And of course, what? Scoring marks also easy. So in the application development, we come across database. Okay. See, in the first unit, it was all about C#, introduction, HTML and all. Second unit, we come across the syntax and why it is used. And everywhere, we come across the ADO.NET technology. Then, this happens when we already written a web application. Web application is there. Before ADO.NET, we have to use the controls. See, a web page is not suitable for a launching or anything like. So what we do is we use many picture box will be there, group box will be there, and if you are working in a desktop, we go to window forms. Then how to write this functions? I told database applications. So database, we know if you want to use database, why we use database? Database is nothing but it is a collection of tables. So each time when we want to use the table, we use a database. Inside many tables will be there. Whenever we want, we can access it. Okay. These are all about the window forms and the database. So in previously only we have studied database application. Here we go into the coding part of it. So we have accessed the database, how to access, how to set it, and which control to use. It's all about ADO.NET. What is ADO.NET? As I've told, it's ActiveX Data Objects. So previously there was ADO and now ADO.NET. Usually when next version is there, we always prefer the current version because of the advantage. Then why data reader and data adapter is used? To retrieve a table from a database, data reader and data adapter, what are its functionalities? When to use, how to use. So now we will access the data. So our database is in which server? What is the database name? That is done using ADO.NET. Next, at last we'll go for a ASP.NET. See, previously we talked about Windows. Windows Forms. This is ASP.NET is web application. So you have seen many websites which is built on .NET, that is ASP.NET. So web application, how shall I access my web application or any web page? I need to go to the browser. What is a browser? Browser is nothing but it will request a web page. So example of browser, we can give which example? Chrome, Internet Explorer. Okay. Next is our internals. How many internals are there? 2 internals. So if first internals is 2 units, what about second internals? Second internals, it's all about third unit. Okay. Marks is allocated is 40 marks. If 30 marks is for internals, writing your internals, and 10 marks will be your Viva, assignment, seminars. Okay. This is all about internals. How many marks totally? 40 marks. So then comes your examination. Once you have prepared all the units and you are very much sure about the topics, then it's your exam. See, it's all about 60 marks. 45 marks is for part A. So 60 minus 45 is remaining how many marks? 15 marks. That is for part B. So how much is the total? 60 marks. Next. So in the meantime, when you're preparing for the internals, you have to go for a book reference. I prefer Bal Guru Swami. That is programming in C#. If you're already familiar with this book in C programming language, C++, this is also will be easy. But if you want something standard application, you can go for a Pearson Education. Then you have another book on the ASP.NET and VB.NET. This is combination of your web application. You can go to a third book. But still, if you find any doubts in the topics, you can search in detail of the topics related to. So these 3 books will help you to go through the C# in a very effective manner. Thank you for the session.